We find out what consumers need to know to protect themselves during this holiday season. Hyannis Main Street is gearing up for its annual holiday stroll, and the town is looking ahead to prepare for a strong financial future. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, December 3rd, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. According to a recent National Retail Federation survey, 60% of both shoppers and recipients say they would rather receive a gift card than anything else on their list. Director of Regulatory Services Richard Scally says there are regulations consumers should be aware of when shopping for gift cards.
Just some things to be aware of. Make sure that you know that your gift cards are good for at least 7 years. And in this day and age of computers, there's a lot of electronic cards now, and they should have a bank value as well. And to make sure that they receive their full value, this also includes these electronic cards as well that are good for 7 years. They also are no longer subject to the abandoned property law, meaning that they're still considered to be property and not abandoned. If the gift certificates are not clearly marked with both the date of issuance and the date of expiration, they shall be good forever at that point, meaning that if they're not accurately marked, they're good for an unlimited amount of time.
Scally also has some tips for online shoppers this holiday season.
Just so you know, make sure you install your antivirus software on your computer. Make sure you manage your pop-ups and cookies and block specific websites if you want to. Making sure you back up your important files, obviously, and make sure that your online forms are secure before you fill them out or provide any personally identifying information on your searches. If you don't want that passed on, don't put that information in there. And just make sure also that you are you never share your phone number or physical address or social security number on any public websites, just to make sure that you don't get that information hacked into.
And for even more information on how to stay protected during the holiday season, you can visit usa.gov and click through to Holiday Tips on the Citizen Topic page. This Saturday, Hyannis Main Street will be buzzing with activity during the annual Christmas stroll. Elizabeth Werfbane, Executive Director of the Main Street Business Improvement District, says the day is full of activities for residents of all ages.
The day kicks off with Breakfast with Santa, and I believe there are still tickets that could be purchased through the Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce or the British Beer Company. It's at the BBC, the British Beer Company, and there are 2 seatings for Breakfast with Santa, 9 and 10:30. And then afterwards, Main Street kicks into gear between about, I'd say, 11 and 3:30. You have some food up and down the street in front of restaurants. You have a cookie stroll with a contest, and people can vote for their favorite cookie. I think you've been a judge, haven't you?
I have indeed. It's a good thing to walk up and down and taste all those delicious cookies.
That's a great job.
It is. It's an awesome job.
Yeah, this year the Barnstable Patriots are going to be in charge of the cookie stroll.
Great.
And yeah, they've taken that on. And we also have, the library is doing some activities, and the train station is doing activities, and a few restaurants like El Torino and the International Inn are each doing movies for Christmas. You have in a lot of the different stores, cookie decorating, or you have balloon twisting. What you should do is look on our website.
Werfbane says Santa will make his way to the corner of Winter Street near Rockland Trust Bank by way of fire truck.
We also have a free trolley going up and down the street because this year we've expanded the activities all the way from Bank of Cape Cod across from Bradford. They're doing activity with hot dogs and chowder and the balloon twisting and the music and hot chocolate, and they're doing something really fun down there. And then all the way down the RTA and all the way down Main Street, all the way down to Little Beach Gallery and Shift, you've got things going on. So there will be a shuttle that will have a lot of stops that will go in the big circle. And we also have the duck boat taking little rides. And we have the horse-drawn buggy doing rides. And we have our petting zoo back, which we
Hyannis
love.
Main Street Christmas Stroll activities go from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. this Saturday. For a full list of activities, you can visit hyannismainstreet.com. Each year, the town is required to update the town's 10-year financial forecast. Finance Director Mark Milne talks about what areas are included in that 10-year forecast.
We're supposed to take into consideration local, state, federal economics data and how that may impact us here locally, and any projections as to how it would impact us financially. Of course, it's 10 years is a long period of time, especially in today's world with things changing so quickly. You need to be, you have to be able to react quickly to changing economic situations. So I don't know how much value a 10-year forecast looking out provides to the town, but we've incorporated a 10-year look back into the 10-year forecast. So it's more like a 20-year document, and it provides us an opportunity to look at, how things have trended over the past 10 years and what have been the significant decisions that have impacted those trends, and then seeing if any of those can be applied looking forward for the next 10 years.
And when looking ahead into the future, Milne says they really try to project where revenues will head.
All of our budgeting is based on revenue projections. We don't plan. We don't do expenditure projections and just making decisions as to what we need to spend and then raise revenues to meet that, because under Massachusetts law, we're restricted as to what we can raise in property taxes, and so we have to project out our revenues first and then back into what we can afford within that revenue structure. So what we really focus on heavily is where revenue projections are likely to go, and that includes things like property taxes. We try to analyze where we think new property growth will go. We look at state aid. We try to project, project out what the state's economy is anticipated and what direction that's anticipated to go. And then we look at all of the other local receipts that we generate here, including things like meals taxes and motor vehicle excise taxes, and try to project out, where those are going to trend by, looking at industry data and various, the auto industry or the hospitality industry, and seeing where those have trended over the past 10 years and where they might go in the next 10 years. But again, as I said, that's it's a long period of time, and things can change very quickly.
This year, the Finance Department will be looking at fiscal year 16 to fiscal year 25 in that 10-year financial forecast. State Representative Cleon Turner is retiring this year after representing the 1st Barnstable District for the past 10 years. Turner reflected on his 2 biggest accomplishments on Barnstable this morning, earlier today.
Passing essentially all, 99%, shall we say, of the home rule petitions that I filed on behalf of all 4 towns in the 1st Barnstable District, including Barnstable. That's number 1 on my list, because that was the whole reason for me going up there in the first place, was to represent the communities and to, make that connection, that link between municipalities and state government. So that, I think, is what I intended to do and what I accomplished. And the second thing would be the issue with regional schools that is still turning out to be a major issue 10 years later. It requires constant nagging and cajoling and crying and whining and fussing. And hopefully, now that I'm out and not going to be doing those kinds of things, I'm hoping that somebody will pick up the ball in a regional school district and run with that ball.
Turner says he is looking forward to retirement with his wife Meg and is sure she will keep him busy with a long honey-do list. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we'll get a preview of this week's Town Council meeting with Town Council President Jessica Rapp-Rossetti. We'll learn about the JFK Memorial Trust Fund Committee with Chair Lynn Poyant. Plus, we'll find out about a special Love Live Local Winterfest taking place this Sunday. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.